Oh, don't mind me. Just got the weirdest sense of foreshadowing. Anyway, welcome back, Amiibros, to Bioshock. In the last episode, we arrived in Neptune's bounty, rescuing two little sisters, and met a man named Peach Wilkins, who has asked us to find a research camera. And in today's episode, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Lady, that makes you a creeper. Now, I know your mind is a big whopping pile of spaghetti, and it's not my place to judge you because of that. But fuck it, I'm gonna judge you. That is very, very creepy, and you should feel ashamed of yourself. And for that, you get zapped, and you get shot at. By good old Rover. He doesn't like creepers. And neither does Manny, because good old Manny's got my back. He understands that everybody's entitled to their privacy. He respects that. But I don't respect you enough that I won't loot your corpse. Sorry, but them's the breaks. Gotta do what you gotta do to survive in this dog city. But we crawl under here, and we find another audio diary embedded in the mud, right around this corner. And booyah! Fontaine must go indeed. If that corpse buried under the mud is anything to go by. Oh, and look, it's raining Eve hypos. Apparently it's not that bad of a day after all. It's about to be a bad day for this guy. The old burn him and dash trick never fails. But what you saw right there is, by lighting an enemy on fire twice, I deal double damage with Incinerate. If you're a fan of Incinerate, keep that in mind. But we still got this other guy up top to worry about. And apparently, I decided that the grates needed to be lit on fire. That's a weird thing about Incinerate 2, is that the aiming can be a bit spotty at times. Granted, it's not so much a gun you're using to fire with, but just literally igniting somebody at the snap of a finger. So, I guess it's still working out some bugs. But with that, we deal with both splicers, no fuss, no muss. And before we leave, I spotted something over here. Grenade box. Wonder what it was doing up there. Maybe a splicer with telekinesis decided, you know what, this is my secret box. I'm gonna make sure no one can get it except me. I'm gonna just leave my entire stash right there. And to their credit, it worked. I would have never guessed. It was just a fluke right there. But we must ever press forward. And over here we collect some proximity mines for good old Greg the grenade launcher. Proximity mines are very, very helpful against bouncers specifically, as, like I said in the last episode, they are the more confrontational type of big daddies. Well, Rosies are confrontational as well, but bouncers are more in your face about it. When you next encounter a bouncer, be sure that you have a straight path, or a clear straight path. Lay some proximity mines down. The bouncer will go straight towards you and charge regardless of the obstacles in their way, and they'll keep running into the proximity mines, which will deal damage to them, and you'll be able to clear them out faster. It's why I think bouncers are the easier of the two big daddies to take down, and why I think Rosies are far more difficult to face off against, because they have a ranged weapon, they can move around a lot more freely. But over on that wall, you see a bot shutdown panel. Pretty much, you spend a few Rapture dollars, and you can immediately cancel the alarm. Bot shutdown panels aren't too plentiful, but they're in areas where you're likely to get caught by security cameras. So, very helpful. What you saw back there was actually a trick you could pull off with telekinesis, where if you see a nearby corpse and a leadhead splicer is firing at you, you can use the corpse as a meat shield to block incoming projectiles, and when the leadhead splicer gets too close, or when you're in range of the leadhead splicer, what you can do is hurl the corpse at them, and you deal a good amount of damage, close to killing them, actually. But as you saw right there, that security camera was way too high up for us to hack. I believe you can hack it if you jump correctly and you have, well, not jump correctly, but if you have the right view, or if you're looking in the right direction, you can hack it. I believe I've done it once before, but I guess I couldn't do it during this recording. You're better off just shooting it with some armor-piercing rounds. Don't know why I didn't use those before, but maybe I'm trying to save up.
The research camera looks just like one you'd see topside. According to this magazine article I scrounged up, it can also analyze genetic information, parse biological structures, and lots of other $5 words.
Well, if you can only use $5 words to describe this camera, I guess it's not really worth it, Atlas. You know, I'm sorry, but your family's just gonna have to starve to death in that submarine of theirs. Sorry. Nah, but in all seriousness, it does pay to get this research camera. It is a very, very nifty tool. But before that, we have this room. Oh boy, every time I play Bioshock, this room always sticks out to me. So originally, when I began editing this video, the whole thing was 22 minutes. Once I removed all the bits, all the the mini games of hacking and stuff like that, it went from 22 minutes to 15 minutes. That's how much hacking is in that room. Barring or ignoring the audio diaries, this whole video would have been 15 minutes had I just cut out all the hacking mini games, you know. And needless to say, I was shocked. You know, at first I was worried, thinking like, oh god, 22 minutes, and this is without the audio diaries. And then, nope, removing the hacking from this part just whittled it down completely, you know. And it's funny too, because once you hack this room, no one's getting away unscathed. Like, you have so many turrets, both grenade launchers and machine gun turrets, watching your back that, you know, no splicer's getting in unscathed. Look, that splicer was just standing there because he was shitting bricks, you know? But, yeah, but, like, if you're not a fan of the hacking minigame, this room, I think, is the worst offender of it all, because you're hacking so damn much. You know, and this is coming from somebody who enjoys the hacking minigame in Bioshock 1, and, you know, in Bioshock 2, they change it so that you're not dealing with pipe segments anymore, and, you know, personally, I'm not a fan of the way they did hacking in Bioshock 2. You know, I'm that kind of weird individual, you know? Because I always just feel like the hacking in Bioshock 1 is a nice break from the action, you know? Like, even because, like, you see early on in Neptune's Bounty how hectic things can get, and, you know, being able to hack something is a nice distraction from it, you know? The way they do hacking in Bioshock 2, it's all done in real time. You know, so there's no like mini game to break away from it. You know, you gotta focus on both what's happening in front of you as well as what you're hacking. You know, but I'll go into more detail about that when I play Bioshock 2 for the channel. But over in the other room, we see a splicer. Wonder if I can get his attention. No? Alright. Well, looks like I'll have to get his attention by taking his picture. Sorry, choked up there.
Good, you got the camera. Now get me some snaps on those spider splicers, and don't come back down here till you've got my research.
Well, let's do what the man says and take a picture. By taking a picture of the spider splicer, we get a B grade. Not only that, but we get a nifty research bonus. increased damage, and spider splicers are more susceptible to anti-personnel rounds. So the main gimmick of the research camera is you take pictures of subjects, basically splicers of all varieties that we've seen up thus far. Little sisters, big daddies, both the Rosies and the bouncers, security turrets, security bots. I believe that's it. But you take pictures of all of those, and you take pictures of all of those to fill up a meter. Once the meter is completely filled, you get a research bonus. The first picture you take of a subject will always net you a full bar instantly, regardless of the grade. You want to go out of your way to research as much as possible till research is complete on every subject, because you get a variety of research bonuses that are incredibly helpful. I'm talking increased damage, increased health and Eve, you know, the works. By taking a picture of this leadhead splicer, we increase the meter even more. You can increase the higher the grade you get for your picture, the more the meter will increase. Certain subjects are easier to take pictures of than others, but you should really go out of your way to make sure each subject is fully researched. Not just for achievement purposes, but, you know, just for full benefits. But speaking of benefits, we get a new plasmid, Security Bullseye. Game, why don't you explain?
Trick the security system. Set security bots and turrets on your enemies.
So, how Security Bullseye works is you hurl this blue ball at an enemy splicer, and basically it acts as if that splicer had tripped the alarm, and a swarm of security bots get called on them. I think, you know, it's easy to see what, of course, it's easy to see with that leadhead splicer, that, you know, quick demonstration of it, but that's it, really, you know. Like, you'd think Security Bullseye would be a lot more helpful than that, because, slight spoiler warning, there are splicers here that do have pet security bots of their own, and you think that using Security Bullseye, you'd be able to turn their own bots against them, and once they kill them, you get to hack it for yourself and reap the rewards. But that's very few and far between. You know, you won't be encountering many splicers like that. I think after this area, you'll be only encountering them like maybe once or twice. You know, Security Bullseye is a plasmid that, you know, you have to jump through a lot of hoops just to use, because whenever you're encountering a security camera, 9 times out of 10 you're either using Electrobolt to hack it, or there's the occasion where you're just going to shoot it, and then that's that. You know, it's a lot quicker and a lot more instant, I feel. But that's Security Bullseye. If you can make it work, more power to you, as always. But you saw right there that there was a Big Daddy with his little sister there.
You have the research camera?
The reason why I left that Big Daddy alone was to do research. And as you notice, we only have one little sister left to rescue in this area. And again, barring any glitches, the little the set amount of little sisters is that. You know, once you rescue or harvest them, there will be no more little sisters. So you gotta be careful, because you can risk screwing up completing your research for the little sisters. Well, I'll go into more detail on that in the next episode. But next time on Bioshock, we'll be taking a lot more pictures and getting a lot more research bonuses. So, oh wait, why am I not taking a picture of the security bot? Take a picture, you fool! Nah, maybe next time. Well, see you guys then.
If things seems that even our water system sprung a leak. Yep, that's right. Irrigation system in Arcadia is taking on seawater. I told Mr. Ryan when we were building this place, either you build her like a bathtub, or she's going to turn into a sewer. No, McDonough, he said. We're not going to build no bathtub. We're going to build Eden.
I saw one of the smugglers having a game of catching on the docks today, and this surprised me because his hands were crippled during the war. He was unloading the barge the other day when he was bitten from the sea slug. He woke up the next morning and he found he could move his fingers for the first time in years. I asked him if he still had that sea slug. As luck would have it, he did. This little sea slug has come along and glued together all the crazy ideas I've had since the war. It doesn't just heal damaged cells, it resurrects them. I can bend the double helix. Black can be reborn white, tall, short, weak, strong. But the slugs alone are not enough. I'll need money. And one other thing. As the respectable labs have all turned me away, I have turned to Fontaine's smugglers in Port Neptune for supplies. Fontaine's men are pigs. They spit, they stink. But they deliver, and they don't ask questions. They're all terrified of Fontaine. He reminds me a bit of the Germans. So efficient. It wouldn't surprise me if he were soon running things down here.
This Fontaine fellow is somebody to watch. Once he was just a menace, to be convicted and hung. But he always manages to be where the evidence isn't. He's the most dangerous type of hoodlum. The kind with vision.
Hanging now, is it? That's what we've come to? Now look, I don't make the laws here, I just enforce them. But I didn't come to Rapture to string men up for running contraband. If Ryan and his crew have their law, then they can have my badge.
Darling Masha, we don't know what has happened to you. Ryan's men have taken you away and said you are needed to save Rapture. Who needs a child to save a city? But I see these little girls crawling out of this vent, and I only wonder if you might one day crawl out of this vent and find this note. We look for you, but if you find this, come to us at the Fighting McDonald's in room number 7. The code to our room is 7533. We miss you, our darling child.
Something must be done about Fontaine. While I was buying buildings and fish futures, he was cornering the market on genotypes and nucleotide sequences. Rapture is transforming before my eyes. The great chain is pulling away from me. Perhaps it's time to give it a tug.